Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. Today I'm going to give you guys my performance review on the Puma All Pro Nitro 2s. This is the successor to the All Pro Nitros, which released a little over 2 years ago. So it was about time that this was released, and quite a long time coming, to say the least. And I was waiting for it to come out, and it just came out of the blue, and I was lucky enough to grab myself a pair for myself. As far as retail goes, they are retailing for $140 in this specific colorway, but for other basic colorways, they do retail for $130, which is the same exact pricing as the first All Pro Nitros. So if you guys are interested, they are available in a few different colors right now on Puma.com, and I will leave a link down below in the description box. Now for the sizing, I would go true to size if you want a more roomier fit, but if you want a more performance-like fit, I would go down a half size. Going true to size, you do get a little bit of extra length here in the toe box, but with the width, it is accommodating enough that way if it's one-to-one on your foot. So if you want a performance fit, I would go down half a size for me personally. For narrow footers, you should be fine going down a half size to get the best fit possible with this, because it is on the narrow side, so it is narrow foot friendly. So be mindful of that. And for wide footers, you should be fine going up a half size. Maybe you can get away with going true to size because of the accommodating fit that you're going to get in this shoe. So at the end of the day, as far as sizing is concerned, if you want a roomy fit, go true to size. If you want a performance fit, go down a half size. For traction, it features a full-length semi-translucent outsole with a concentrated radial pattern here in the forefoot, and it slowly radializes throughout the forefoot with a more spaced-out radial pattern that you get in the heel. As far as grip is concerned, the grip is really nice overall. I didn't really have to break it in when I started playing in it. So when it came to lateral movements, it felt very shifty going side to side. It was very tacky when it was being really sudden and being very quick. As far as vertical movements go, hard stops felt good with a little bit of give. It wasn't like necessarily a really nice bite, but it was still enough to give you like a nice hard stop. But with first steps, you do get a nice push off on your first step, so it is really quick at that. On dusty courts, it does pick up a little bit of dust, but it is fairly easy to wipe off, and whenever you need to, you just simply wipe it off and you're going to be good to go. With me, I rarely had to wipe it down, so it was a huge plus when it came to that part. Just afterwards, I just had to wipe it off, and it was basically all said and done. For durability, they are pretty durable. You do get a little bit of wear in the high wear areas with a little bit of fraying here on the grooves in the high wear areas, so it holds up pretty well when I was playing in it. The rubber is on the hard side, and you do get some pretty decent thick grooves, so you should be able to play in these outdoors. Just be mindful that there's going to be a little bit of wear and tear when it comes to the high wear areas themselves. So when it all comes down to it, the traction is pretty good. Not necessarily the same level as the first All Pro Nitros, but it is pretty close when it comes to the overall grip profile that you get. For the cushioning, it basically features the same exact midsole setup that you get in the first All Pro Nitros, where you do get a full-length Nitro squared midsole, which is basically a dual-density Nitro foam setup, but it comes updated with a Pro plate that is in the midfoot, and it extends as a leaflet here in the forefoot, which is basically all the way up into the forefoot itself. So as far as the overall cushioning is concerned, especially in the forefoot, it is very responsive and really springy with the Pro plate shank that you get. So you get a really nice bouncy and lively feel, a little bit more livelier compared to the first All Pro Nitros, so it is a definite upgrade when it comes to the forefoot cushioning in my opinion. In the heel, the foam is a very high stack, and it is very comfortable. Feels really nice and soft on foot, and it didn't really feel too mushy, so it has a nice squishy feel without being too mushy and sinking to the floor itself. So it is pretty compressible on your foot, and as a result, you get really good impact protection as well when it came to heel strikes. So very nice and comfortable, just like the first All Pro Nitros in my opinion. And fluidity, it is very smooth. The midsole feels really nice and soft, like I said earlier, so you're gonna have really a nice soft strides when it comes to the heel to toe transitions. Along with the Pro plate that you get in the midfoot and extends into the forefoot, you get a very snappy and bouncy feel when it comes down to it, so you're going to get up to speed very quickly in these. So as far as the overall cushioning is concerned, it is a slight upgrade to the first All Pro Nitros in my opinion, especially with the forefoot cushioning and the extended Pro plate that you get in the midfoot, and it extends as a leaflet as well, giving you a more springier, lively feel compared to the first All Pro Nitros. But as far as the overall feel is concerned, they feel exactly the same, but a little more springiness in my opinion compared to the first All Pro Nitros. Now for the materials themselves, as you look closely into the shoe, it features a full-length ultra weave upper basically throughout the entire shoe here in the lateral, medial, and forefoot, with the fuse overlay that you get here with the Puma logo. Especially the tongue itself is very minimalistic, made up of mesh padding with very minimal padding here on the top. And the same can be said with the ankle collar with some decent padding, as well as in the heel with a little bit of padding as well. So as far as how they feel, when it comes to comfort, it does take some time to break in, especially with the gluey sensation that you get from the Ultra Weave itself. But the more you break it in, it starts to get a little bit better. Initially, when I started playing these, the beginning of the lace line meets with the fuse themselves, and when you crease it, it does start to pinch your foot a little bit. So that's what you're going to experience initially. Just be mindful that after some breaking time, it will slowly go away, and it will feel pretty comfortable on foot and feel very flexible at the end of the day. So as far as that's concerned, it's pretty good. Just needs a little bit of breaking time. With the padding in the tongue, it is minimal, but it does feel pretty good overall. And the lace line itself is nice and integrated, so I didn't experience any lace irritation throughout the midfoot itself. In the heel, the padding is minimal with the ankle collar around it and in the heel as well, but it still feels good when it's all said and done when it comes to the padding itself. Aesthetically, I like the overall shape of the shoe, basically a carryover from the first All Pro Nitros, but the look itself is way more aggressive in terms of the styling itself, especially with the Puma logo in the forefoot that wraps into the midfoot as well. You also get this nice graffiti print that you get throughout the material as well, along with the splatter print that you get on the midsole itself, which is a very nice aesthetic. And I really like the shark fin that you get in the heel, which makes the shoe look pretty cool and make it a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the overall styling itself. So as far as the materials go, it is good just like the first All Pro Nitros, but I do like the engineered mesh more in the first All Pro Nitro, whereas in this you have to break them in just to get to that level of comfort, but it gets the job done at the end of the day when it comes to the materials themselves. And I do like the aggressive styling that you get in this version as well. Now, in terms of the lockdown starting in the forefoot, the containment side to side is good, but you do slide a little bit when it comes to vertical movements, especially on hard stops. So that's where like the performance fit starts to kick in when it comes to the shoe. The extra length that you get, you will slide a little bit forward if you get that roomy fit that you like. So be mindful of that when it comes to the forefoot containment. You will slide a little bit forward on the vertical movements, especially. In the midfoot, you are getting a basic hybrid system, with the beginning of the lace line being an internal cabling system, with the rest of the lace line being just a standard lacing system itself to give you like a nice wrap around your foot. And the cables do a really nice job of cinching the front of the midfoot to give it a nice containing feel. And that is where the gusset of the tongue starts. With the tongue itself, you do get a semi-gusseted tongue to give you a better wrap, especially in the front of the midfoot itself. So you get really nice containment in the midfoot as far as that is concerned with the hybrid lacing system that you get. In the heel though, the sculpting in the back is very minimal when it comes to keeping the heel in place, so you aren't going to get any containment when it comes to the heel lockdown. You get very noticeable heel slippage every now and then, especially when you start off. The midfoot is basically doing most of the work as far as the overall containment is concerned when it comes to the heel lockdown, because there isn't that much sculpting, and the padding does its job a little bit, but it is very minimal when it comes to it, and it really doesn't hold that much when it comes to the heel lockdown itself. So you will experience some heel slippage here or there when it comes down to it. Most of the work when it comes to lockdown is basically the midfoot itself, with a little bit of the forefoot as well. So as far as that is concerned, it just gets the job done when it comes to the overall lockdown itself, with decent lockdown here in the forefoot, aside from the vertical movements that you're going to experience sliding forward. Midfoot's really good with the hybrid lacing system that you get, but with the minimalistic sculpting shape that you get in the back, you will experience noticeable heel slippage every now and then, with most of the lockdown coming from the midfoot system itself. And last but not least, when it comes to support, to me, it is a much improved version compared to the first All Pro Nitros, in my opinion. For lateral support, you do get the sloped midsole, along with a rubber wing in the forefoot to give it some extra containment, as well as the Ultra Weave material that you get with a little bit extra rigidity. The midfoot, you also get another extra rubber wing going into the midfoot a little bit for some more containment, and a little bit extended into the heel, along with a stiff internal heel counter to give you some nice containment in the heel. So as far as lateral support is concerned, you do get a little bit more beefiness from the rubber wings that you get, aside from the first All Pro Nitros, where it was just the midsole itself containing you. So that was kind of a little instability issue when it came to the first All Pro Nitros. But with this, it basically holds it down for the most part because of the rubber wings that you get, with a little bit more containment from the materials as well with the Ultra Weave that you get. So pretty much an improved version when it comes to the lateral support itself. And the same can be said with the torsional support. With the Pro Plate here in the midfoot and extends into the forefoot, you get a very stiff midsole, keeping it really balanced and stiff in the forefoot without allowing it to contort here or there. You do get a little bit of flexibility here in the forefoot, but with the leaflet that you get from the plate, it does make it a little stiff, so you are going to have some stiffness with the forefoot especially, but with that, it gives it a really nice stiff ride without allowing it to contort on you. So it's very much a step up when it comes to the torsional rigidity that you get in this shoe. The base itself is fairly wide, basically the same as the first All Pro Nitro, so you're going to have a nice wide base, and it's pretty flat at the end of the day, so you're going to have a nice flat platform to land on when it comes to the base of the shoe itself. So as far as the support is concerned, it is a supportive upgrade to the first All Pro Nitros in my opinion, especially with the lateral support, with a little bit more rigidity when it comes to the torsional support that you get, and with the same base, it's pretty much exactly the same when it comes to the overall landing feel that you're going to get in the shoe, but it is more stable when it comes to lateral movements and more torsionally sound when it comes to the pro plate that you get as well. So to sum it up for you guys, this is a very solid all-around performer in my opinion, and a improved upgrade to the first All Pro Nitros in many aspects in my opinion. The traction basically lives up to the first one, but it does have a little bit more grip when it comes to the grip. Cushioning is exactly the same, but you do get a more springier, lively feel in the forefoot cushioning. Materials do require some break-in time, but it gets to the same level with a little bit of break-in time afterwards. Lockdown is all right at the end of the day, with the midfoot doing most of the work, but you do experience a little bit of heel slippage, so that is the low light of the lockdown. Support is definitely an upgrade with a more beefed up setup when it comes to lateral support, as well as the torsional rigidity that you get from this shoe. So it all begs to question, is this really the All Pro Nitro 2? To me, this feels like this should have been the All Pro Nitro Elite, and it has taken them 2 years to figure out that this can be elite version instead of the next version. So I kind of don't understand the naming of it, and it took them 2 years to come up with it at this point. So to me, it just feels like a beefed up version of the first All Pro Nitro, and at that point, this should have been called the All Pro Nitro Elite compared to the other shoe that we got, which is a bit unnecessary at that point. So to me, this kind of feels unnecessary, at the same time calling it the All Pro Nitro 2s, where it's just a recycled shoe with beefier materials and a beefier setup when it comes to the overall support itself. So kind of unnecessary to call it the All Pro Nitro 2. It should have been called the All Pro Nitro Elite, but nonetheless, it's still a good shoe and a definite upgrade in some aspects when it comes to the first All Pro Nitro itself. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been my performance review on the Puma All Pro Nitro 2s. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below on what you think of the Nitro 2s. Should they have been called the All Pro Nitro Elites compared to the other shoe that they had when they released the All Pro Nitro Elites? And comment down below if you think that was a very unnecessary shoe at that price. Leave a comment down below as well. If you think this is better than the first All Pro Nitros, I'd like to know your thoughts, as well as the other way around. If the first All Pro Nitro is better, considering that it is a lot cheaper right now compared to this one, where it's at full retail, where you can get the first All Pro Nitros for around $60, $70. So at the end of the day, I'd like to know your thoughts, as well as any other questions that you might have. If you'd like to stay up to date with future videos that I'll be posting, hit the subscribe button down below. It will greatly support the channel as well. And if you do want to see what I'm talking about the first All Pro Nitro and the All Pro Nitro Elite, I will leave those reviews on the corners of the screen right here. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, all of that information will be in the description box. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys. And until next time, keep shooting.